Hey, what's up everybody? It's been a while. It is spring 2026, April 20th. Last week it was in the high 80s and 90s. This week we have lows down into 31, so we're getting some frost still. Glad I didn't put out my peppers and tomatoes yet, like some people probably did. But let's go see what I do have going on. All right, so here are the chickens. Right now they're eating some sunflower seeds, having a good time. Their little shack did fall down, but they could still get up under there for some protection. And of course they have the big shed to go into. Still need to make that coop, which I haven't done yet. Got some big plans still. It's gonna go in the corner there. This is the original bed that was here when we moved. Nothing in there currently, just some weeds. I did have some potatoes in there, like from leftover from last year. I was seeing if they were gonna sprout. But we had a really cold winter. So I don't know, it doesn't look like they're going to, because they probably would have popped up by now or started to. We'll see what happens. All I do have in here that I really did plant was, whoops, fell in a hole there. These strawberries, they're looking real good. Eventually I would like to get like a greenhouse over here of some sort. Be near the chicken coop, the greenhouse. Of course I got the old compost pile here, still haven't dug into it. I do plan on getting into it this year. I need to make a video on that. I'm not looking forward to it, honestly, because it's gonna be a lot of work. And I probably will be moving on to a 3-bin system just to make it easier for myself. But this is the old gross compost bin right now. It looks like I got some melons or cucumbers sprouting. I didn't plant those. Those are just, from scooping out melon seeds or whatever. I'm surprised they did okay in the frost last night. That's surprising, actually. Let's move on. Trees are all doing really good. Missed a lot of the flowering, unfortunately. But basically every tree I had flowered. I'll point out a couple that didn't. This is the Z Nectaplum, I believe. Spice Z Nectaplum. It did grow one plum, or whatever you want to call it, I guess a plum. One fruit last year, but I didn't get to it. A creature did. Not that creature. Another creature. Probably a squirrel. This is the Double Delight pear tree, I believe it is. Sorry, Double Delight nectarine. So that's flowering again. This is the second year in the ground. A lot of these things in this back row here, it's the second year in the ground. If I get some fruit off it, cool. If not, no big deal. They're also not in the optimal spot. This area, it takes a while for the sun to hit it throughout the day because I got a lot of tall trees around. But they're growing, they're surviving. Sorry about the kid furniture, playground stuff back there. I was gonna mow, but then my mower died halfway through my front yard, so I gotta figure out what's going on with that. In this bed, I direct sowed some, mostly radishes, a blend. I tried to do like some bigger, like daikon, I believe, and wasabi radish. The wasabi is like some freebies from rareseeds.com. Then I got a bunch of other small, let me get my shadow out of the way there. I tried to keep the smaller radishes towards the front. I'm pretty bad at timing the whole cool weather into spring and the hot weather thing. Trying to get better at it, but I'm hoping these are fully developed before my peppers and stuff like an eggplant are ready to go from my basement. I have seedlings started in my basement. I do have some peas going. I have peas in every bed. This is more of the same, radishes. And besides the radishes, Also a ton of weeds. I don't know exactly what this is. I looked it up before. It might be like lamb's ear, lamb's quarter, something like that. I just kind of, I was yanking at it and it comes out easy, but there's a lot of it. And I'm just hoping to get these radishes out of here and then also just top off these beds. These beds haven't been topped off with anything. No new soil or compost or anything like that. So I'm seeing how that goes, but I'm hoping that once I pluck these radishes out of here, I could just chop up all these little baby plants. I'll add nitrogen and other good stuff to the soil, and then I'll just top it off with some compost and a soil mixture and probably some new fertilizer too. And then I'll be ready to get the heavy fruiting stuff in the soil. You'll notice there's some bigger plants in here. These things, there's more in the other beds. These things, I think that's a cabbage. It's hard for me to tell anymore. Are some stuff that I planted 2025, like right before, like late fall. I got them in the ground. I'm like, all right, let me see what happens. Let me try to get some cool weather crops going. Did it too late. Basically, we got heavy snowfall throughout the winter a few times. These things were buried under the snow. I thought they were a goner, but once the snow melted, I saw little nubs of growth. So I just, let it go, and they came back to life. Cabbage, I believe it's a cabbage. And this looks like a broccoli. I will show some of the issues I'm having with the broccoli. Like right here. Like this stuff was in the ground right as soon as it was basically possible to be. And it's already shooting straight to seed. Or straight to flower, straight to seed. Bolting. And that is because we had some very unusually warm weather last week. It was in the 80s, touched the 90s for a day, maybe two. And even besides last week, it's been pretty warm for a few weeks. Got cooler again this week, but it looks like the damage is already done. My broccoli that was in the ground since as early as can be is bolting. The kale, looks like the kale down there is also bolting a bit. I like this right here. Looks like, I think this is a kale, it's bolting. I've just been putting stuff in my smoothies. This might be collard green or another type of kale. Honestly, it's hard for me to tell. I just throw it in a smoothie. But this, unfortunately, I was hoping to get, this is like was supposed to be like a multi-head broccoli. I forgot what they call that. But not just like one big head, a bunch of like little ones so you can enjoy it longer. Honestly, it still tastes pretty good. I think I'm gonna chop these down and just saute them. Saute them in the pan with a little olive oil, salt, pepper. That'll still be good. Same thing in here. I do have radishes. They didn't do quite as good in here. But you can see I got some lettuce going. The peas also. You can see this bed is really depleted. It's getting real low. And this is the bed that had the most survive. The kale and some broccolis. Just been eating them up. And here, I tried something else too. Carrots. Competing with the weeds. I'm gonna get in here and try to weed this a little better. But I have rows of carrots. Way too heavy, honestly. I tried the method of sowing carrots where you make a cornstarch like gel and you mix it with the seeds. That worked pretty good, except I just made the gel too thick. So it was hard to get it out of the bag. That's why it's like little clumps instead of like a nice perfect line, because the bag kept clogging. But overall, I did like it because a ton germinated and I didn't come out here and baby it. Normally you gotta like keep it under some cardboard or a plank of wood, because if the carrot seeds dry out at all, they won't germinate. But the germination rate seems to be pretty good. And most of these were pretty old carrot seeds, like 3+ years old. And I still got a good germination rate. I just don't know if I'm gonna actually see anything out of them. But I'm gonna try the cornstarch thing again later in the year, like at the end of summer, and hopefully I can plan that better. Let me just backtrack a bit. Show some other trees here. These are mostly different pluots. They went in the ground last year. They already got really big. This is one of the failures here. This is one of the 3 honeyberry bushes I got off someone on Facebook. They were pretty big, and I dug them out, planted them. This one, unfortunately, did not make it. So I'm gonna have to dig that out, chop it down, whatever. But the other 2 are looking good. This tree is looking nice. Most of these pluots and stuff also flowered. So I think I'm gonna maybe get some pluots this year. This is one of the honeyberries that I got from that same person. This one survived. It's not looking too great, but it is living. It did flower. I'm hoping it overlaps with some of the other varieties I have. This thing vining in the background, it's like some grapes, but that is a hardy kiwi. I got a few of those. I still need to do my whole thing with making a trellis for them. This is the best honeyberry I got. Look how big that plant is. Super healthy. Had a lot of flowers. Bumblebees were liking it. Hopefully I get to taste a honeyberry this year, because I still haven't. These are black currants, I believe. I'm not sure. This was a plant that was here when I first moved here. So I'm not 100% sure. I believe it's a black currant or something like that. I just pick a few off here and there. Mostly the birds get to them. But they're really sour. This is my biggest Asian pear here. And it flowered like crazy. Look, I'm already getting little baby pears. That's awesome. What's the variety on this? Can I find it? That was another thing I need to work on this year. I put tags on all the trees, but I need to do something that's just in the grounds at the base, because it's hard to find the label once the tree grows in a bit. Here we go. I'm gonna butcher this, but it's Hasui Asian pear. Not 100% on that, but I'm gonna roll with that. Looks like an artichoke that's coming back. This is not wasabi, horseradish. Horseradish popped back up. I still haven't harvested that at all. It's been growing for like 3 years. This year I'm actually gonna harvest some. Let me back up a little bit here. So we went over this long edge. Now we're getting into the real meat of it. Another thing, we had a really harsh winter. It was like basically single digits for a long time, multiple 20-inch snowfalls. This is one of my pomegranate trees. It hasn't started doing anything yet. That might be dead, unfortunately. And I have like 3 or 4 of them like that. Really not fun. But a lot of trees did survive, so let's focus on those. The pear tree, looking real good. I gave that a nice open center, or at least I could have still even went farther, but I hacked away at this thing. Really, it was humongous. And there's still more I could do, but I was kind of trying to be greedy, which is always my downfall with these fruit trees, I think. I could probably take this long branch out of here just to open it up even more. for now, I'm gonna keep it. Maybe I'll change my mind and prune that halfway through the spring or the summer or something like that. Got a lot of flowers here, like annuals. We just popped those in the ground a few weeks ago. Those are just from the local garden center that we have nearby. Good place. There's our snapdragons and pansies or something. I forget. I always forget what these are called. Yep, pansy. A lot of pansies, a lot of snapdragons. That's what they had available. This, you might see I got some buckets here. I did get 6 new fig plants. The guy, njfigfarm.com, I believe it is. They got good prices. The dude has a big variety. You just place the order and then a week later you go pick it up at his place. Really convenient. But I have to get those in the ground. They're not in the ground yet. I just got them like a week or 2 ago. And I'm still trying to figure out the placement I want for them. So for now they're still in the pot, but I will be getting those in the ground very soon. This is one of my small, I have 3 small honeyberry. These are like the beasts, like it's like, there's like Blizzard, Beast, and Beauty, I believe I got from someone else. But I got these as small little sticks basically last year, and they are doing good. They're looking real nice. This cherry tree, Rainier cherry. Unfortunately, this one, once again, didn't flower. I mean, it's a little bit of a lie. It flowered a bit, but like a handful of flowers on this big tree. Look at that trunk. It's getting pretty big around, honestly. Let me try to get out of the light. I gotta cut off that sucker. But this thing's getting pretty big, and I hacked it down because it was even a lot taller than this. And no flowers really. I saw that if you prune them in the summer, it's supposed to promote like I guess bud growth for flowers for the next year for cherries. I'm gonna give that a try because this thing's been one of my original trees that I put in the ground when I first moved here, and it's done nothing except get bigger and taller. But I don't have any experience with that besides this tree and what I've been growing, so I don't know if that's usual for cherry trees. Maybe it just needs another year, but I feel like this year should have went off. Moving on, you see the fencing on the ground. I plan to use that along my privacy fence to let the grapes and other plants trellis up. Here's the blueberries, looking pretty good. This is like an original thing I put in the ground too. Looking like a lot of berries. Over here I got sweetie pie blackberries popping up all over the place. Those are looking nice. I did clean them up. There's a lot more. I can see all the little babies popping up. So I'm gonna have to decide which ones I want to keep, you know, to grow for next year's harvest. Which ones I want to just knock down and not deal with, because they really can start taking over the place. Let's see. Oh, here's something new. That looks like, I believe that's one Egyptian walking onion. I planted a few of them, and this seems to be the only one that made it. So as long as that makes it and does its thing, I'll have more walking onions, and hopefully I won't have to buy any more, and it'll just start propagating or spreading itself. This, another berry, I believe, I forget the name of it. I think it's like a purple raspberry of some sort. I haven't gotten to eat any. This year looks like the year though, because I'm seeing lots of little flowers, or little buds anyway. I tried to clean that up pretty nice, get rid of all the dead wood. It looks like there's some more I can come back in here and take care of, but I'll take care of that soon enough. Here's one of my persimmon trees. I did have another one, but I tried to plant it all the way down there. didn't give it any love, and it showed because it didn't make it. This one's doing okay. Gets a decent amount of sun over here, and it's budding out. So it survived the winter. This is my Italian plum. Chopped this down pretty good too. Didn't get any flowers yet, unfortunately. Seems to be the name of the game with some of these trees. Give it another year, I guess. I got other trees to rely on. But I'm hoping to see some flowers on this like in the next year, because some of these are starting to get a little annoying. I know you gotta wait with trees, but I've been waiting like 3-4 years on some of these guys. The black raspberry is doing good. Mostly leafed out. It looks like I can come back in here and cut away some more of this that's not gonna leaf out. It looked like it was going to. Like I had like little ones, but then maybe they just froze. But if you look, some of them are still going. They're just slow. So there's still a chance, but I do want to come in here and cut out anything that's not actually producing any leaves, because it's starting to become a mess here. Probably next year or towards the end of the year, I'm gonna clean up a lot of this. I know they're gonna just keep popping up all over the place, but I wanna space it out a little better so they have a little more airflow. Since there is so many now, I could be a little more choosy with what I let grow and make sure we get enough airflow and light for everything. Have some more strawberries popping up. I forget the name. This is the one that's supposed to be really cold hardy. And they make pretty small strawberries, but they're good. I haven't really done anything with these guys. They're just doing their thing. What do we got here? This is Chijuro Asian pear. Uh-oh, what happened here? Something snapped off. But this one flowered awesome. This one I actually got fruit off of last year, and it was good. It tasted good. Hopefully this, look at that. Got little ones already. I think this year I'm gonna get a ton of Asian pears, which I'm happy about because they taste pretty good. This back row is a little sad. This is where I originally put some figs, but as you can tell already, it gets kind of shady over here because I got this big tree that blocks it once the sun rises over there. And then once the sun's starting to set, I got big pine trees over here from my neighbor, and they block the sun this way. So I haven't had too much luck with stuff in the back here. I gotta start, I gotta plant some stuff that's not gonna mind the shade as much. A lot of this I planted when I was new to the game, so I tried to force some stuff that doesn't seem like it's working, but I might move these fig trees to another spot just so they have a better chance, and then do something back here, maybe like a mushroom bed or something like that, or just some decorative stuff like hostas, like stuff that's not gonna mind the shade. That's a gooseberry right there. This is a Moore Park apricot. Also not doing amazing, but it had some flowers. It was actually the first thing that flowered. So we'll see how that does. This is a black cherry tree that's in the back corner. And this one also didn't have any flowers. I just don't know if it has to get bigger and bigger or it's not getting enough light, but the rainier is getting plenty of light because it's out there in the middle. So I'm not sure what the holdup is, but I'm gonna just keep it in the ground. It's already there. I gotta focus on other stuff while I wait and be patient. This is another sweetie pie blackberry, kind of living in the shadows, doesn't do that well. This whole back corner of the yard doesn't do amazing, but I just let it go anyway. During the big snowstorm we had, unfortunately my biggest apple tree, it snapped its stem there. I think it was just the snow, really, just was too much for it. This one's flowering okay this year. It's nothing amazing. Down here, strawberry bed. Strawberries are doing okay. Look at all those flowers. This is like a weird mix of like a white or yellow variety, which stays small, and this side is the red. Gets a lot bigger. It's overflowing out of the bed, which I just allowed to happen. Looks like they're taking over. I'll probably have to worry about that at some point, but I'm not gonna worry about it right now. This was the Olympic Asian pear. What is it called? Oh no, Hardy Giant. I think it goes by a few names, honestly, but it's supposed to be a variety that gets really big. And this was the first year it flowered, which was cool. And it has a lot of potential fruit. This was my garlic I planted last year. Around Halloween time, popped up fine, no problem. And actually, this is like what I planted from my own harvest. I didn't buy any new seed garlic. I just planted what I had. Seeing what happens, hoping I can, you know, perpetually have garlic now. I kind of just mix varieties and all that, so we'll see how that goes too. I left some space here because I'm probably gonna stick some tomatoes back here. I like to, honestly, the garden are mostly like peppers, tomatoes, eggplants, all the nightshades. So that's what I put a big focus on. This is one of my two, what is this? Honeycrisp. Honeycrisp. The two Honeycrisp like absolutely exploded with flowers. But unfortunately the other apple trees, they didn't explode as much. They had some flowering. So I'm hoping the little bit of flowers from the other varieties is enough to pollinate all these Honeycrisp, and I just get a ton of Honeycrisp this year. Because that is one of my favorite apples, and I haven't gotten any yet from my own garden. We'll see if these flowers got pollinated, either from some stuff in my own garden, or if there happens to be crab apples nearby, or I think my neighbor across the street has some apples too. So we'll see how that goes. This, you know, these beds are mostly empty because I didn't put anything in here yet, except for, well, I did put a few things in, but nothing crazy. This was just more radish seeds. Seeing how that goes. These kale. I'm getting in the way of the sun here. These kale, same thing as the other metal taller raised beds. They just survived from the previous winter. And I'm just letting them go, eating them. And then besides that, I did put some radishes in here and stuff, but it looks like those did not really take off at all. Yeah, I got some lettuce. See how that does. I don't mind just chopping it down to nothing though. I do have some borage. Self-seeding, I didn't plant those, but you know, once you have borage, you always have it. So that's good. Probably gonna try to transplant those. But those self-sow really easy. Let's see what else we got. This is a European pear variety called Starking Delicious from Stark Brothers. This is my first year seeing a fruit, or I won't say it fruited yet, but it had flowers. So see what happens with that. Underneath a lot of the trees, I started doing a little better with planting stuff. These strawberries are from last year. I only put a couple. I'll show you in the other, underneath the other trees, strawberries are really starting to take over. But I did, you know, put a rosemary there, and this is another one of the honeyberries. The little honeyberries I put in are doing real good, so I'm happy about that. It's basically just a bed of weeds. This one I didn't put anything in. It looks like maybe some tomatoes and stuff are growing in there, but I did not put anything in there yet. This I did put some like cabbages and stuff that I started in the basement. Figured maybe they won't mind being in the colder side, in like, you know, the area that gets a little more shade. They do still get plenty of sunlight, but they just get more shade than other areas. This side is doing a lot better than the other bed, surprisingly, that gets more sun. When I did put these out, we did get hit with like another frost though, so like it got really cold. So, and they were just like little baby cabbages, so that probably stunted it. We'll see what happens, but I got cabbages in here. If they make it, cool. If not, no big deal. I also put in asparagus. That was like little baby asparagus from last year. If you look around, I see a lot of them. So hopefully this turns into a nice asparagus bed. That was the plan with the strawberry bed over there, to be strawberries and asparagus. But basically only one asparagus plant made it. Hopefully that spreads a bit, but I think at some point I'm gonna rip out like half those strawberries because, you know, it's interesting, but it's not giving me what I want with those little berries. I'd rather have big regular strawberries than the more unique but less productive little berries. One of my blueberry bushes here is doing good. I had another one over there I skipped over, but that one's doing pretty good too. Back here, I had, you know, another learning experience. I had more like caning, I don't know, what do you call them? Like caning berries. They were supposed to be thornless, but most of them end up having thorns, so joke's on me, I guess. But I did rip a lot of it out because it just wasn't producing. I would get plants, but not a lot of berries. I did thin them pretty good. I got to come back in here and thin this even better because this raspberry is like really creeping out, which is fine because if it creeps out into the sun, maybe I'll actually get better berries. Right now I'm getting a whole lot of growth, but not a lot of berries. This is one of my nectarine trees. This one has a really nice open center. And this one flowered pretty good. So I'm hoping for big things. I think I'm gonna go in here and clean that up, get that out of here. This one has such a nice open center that I wanna like let it have its full potential. Let's see. This is, I'm starting to lose the sun here. This is Arkansas Black. It's supposed to be a really good, as far as like disease resistant variety. So that's why I planted it. But that one has some flowers. So hopefully that is enough, along with, I think that's Washington apple, or no, I forget what that is. That one, the few flowers on there, plus the decent amount of flowers here, will be enough to pollinate all of those Honeycrisp apples. This is Bartlett pear. I got some pears off that last year. They were good. But yeah, it flowered again. So hoping for even bigger, actually. Starting to see the little baby fruits on there. Hoping for bigger things this year. Let's see, next up we got Flavor Grenade Pluot. You can see the other issue with these is like they start to cut off the branches, like it starts to dig into it, so that's why I have to like undo them and get one that sticks in the ground for a little placard for everything. But this one was like nothing but flowers. Obviously way too much for the tree to, well, maybe not, but I think way too much for the tree to actually, you know, bring to full-grown fruit. But that's fine. If a lot of it drops off, I'll probably go in there and thin it once they get a little bigger. But that one was just doing real good. You can see the strawberries that we put under there really took off. I think I only put like, you know, something like 3 to 5 strawberry plants and it turned into that. Let's see. This is I think Galaxy Peach. Basically just a tasty peach that's flat. Some call it donut, Galaxy, they got different names. Some more flowers we put in the ground. This is some strawberries. Didn't take off quite like the other ones. Look at this. I didn't plant these. Those actually just came back on their own. Those were like some of the first flowers I saw this year. I thought that was interesting. I guess it's from seeds. But yeah, it's just spreading itself around, so that's cool if the flowers spread themselves around. This is a huge strawberry patch. Not flowering yet for the most part, but it really crept out because I just put a few underneath the tree there, and it really just came out here. This is Montmorency cherry, a sour cherry for baking. I guess you could eat it fresh too. This one got more flowers than the one I've had from the first year I moved in. So that's interesting how that happens. But I'll take it. If I get a single cherry off of one of these trees this year, I'll count it as a win. It's another fig. For the figs, I got like I said, 6 varieties. I'll try to go into them more when I'm actually planting them. But I tried to spread out the different I don't know too much about figs. But the way the guy explained it was like, oh, one's like strawberry flavored, one's like more of a jammy flavor, one's more of a honey flavor. So that all sounded good. I tried to just get a little bit of variety with that. This is the other Honeycrisp, and look how many flowers I had this year. It's like really a ton. I'm hoping the other trees are enough to pollinate this, because it'd be a real miss to have so many flowers on my 2 Honeycrisp and not get a decent amount of fruit from it. You can see these boards on the ground. I plan on expanding those wood beds, 2 more wood beds, 8x4. Right now I've been using the bricks along with, what are these, 12-inch wide boards, planks. You can kind of do all sorts of things with the bricks. I like to go 12 inches high, 2 bricks high. Higher would be better, but it takes even more soil, but the higher is nice because then you don't have to like strain your back as much. But of course, the higher you go, the more costly for the materials, costs more to fill the beds. So these are good low to the ground, like it's not too big of a deal. And I can have a lot more of them. But my plan is to put in 2 more of that style bed. I got a couple of these circle beds here. I just got those off someone on Facebook. I think 20 bucks for the 2 of them. That has a kale from last year and some extra peas that I put in there because I had leftover peas. Let's talk about this path real quick. This is creeping thyme. My wife mostly worked on this, but I did trim it back to reveal the stones better. It didn't look great last year, but after the winter and coming back, it looks so much better. Like it's really giving the effect that we were going after. Unfortunately, along with that, we have these other weeds. I forget the name of these, but they're just everywhere, and they're hardy. These they look great with the purple flowers, but after the flowers are gone, there's nothing but the leaves. And they're pretty annoying just because of how hardy they are. Like they are spreading everywhere. But at least it's something for the bugs and just kind of learning to deal with it. I'm gonna try to tackle it again in certain areas, like by putting down some more cardboard plus wood chips on top. But that's a work in progress. They certainly spread more over on this side. This was the year, I think I put wood chips down just fresh last year over here. Like I expanded from this side of the yard over to here. So there wasn't wood chips here as long. Maybe that's part of why, but I think I'm gonna put cardboard down and maybe even some more wood chips. But for now, they can stay. Not that I have much of a choice, but I do like that path. I think I'm gonna put a U, like a keyhole style raised bed here. That'll be a nice way to mix it up a bit. There's a good amount of space here. I do have these kind of like pyramid trellises that I use for pole beans. Those worked out pretty good. What else? We got anything else going on here? This is another pluot. The pluots really took off. They grew like crazy. They're like, I don't know, because of their hybrid or whatever, but they put out a ton of growth. I cut all the trees, I cut them way back. Tried to open up the centers, but even with all that I did, once it starts leafing out, I see that I probably should have done more. So I might come in here and actually cut out another whole limb or two. right in the middle here just to open it up. But these pluots, they look like they're gonna be super productive. Just how many flowers I get. And this is the other little raised bed I had for the kids. We put some flowers in there and they can, gives them a place to dig around without me caring if they kill the plants or not. But I do have seeds or peas in there. Those are looking nice. Lastly, one more pluot. Flavor King pluot. So that's it. That's the yard. That's the food forest. How it's looking so far. The raised bed's looking a little sad, but that'll pick up soon once the frost is over and I can get tomatoes and peppers and eggplant in there. Stuff I think everyone really looks forward to in the springtime. Plus, you got the melons on the ground. There's a lot to look forward to. All right, everybody, that about wraps it up. Thanks for sticking around. I know I was rambling there for a while, probably like 30 minutes or so. But I had a lot to talk about. I haven't made a video in a while, and the food forest is a decent size, and I want to make sure I touch on everything and future plans I got for the place. So I'll be making another video again real soon as it gets a little warmer and I get all the tomatoes in the ground, peppers, eggplant, cucumbers, the stuff everyone really loves having a garden for, besides the fruit trees. So until next time, have a good one.